Vag. What you gonna do when it's hot outside? Ooh, I know what. Listen to Vag. What you gonna do when the trains are down? Ooh, I know what. Listen to Vag.
We're doing a third Vag this week. We're doing like 100 episodes this week because it's the holidays, and we try not to disappoint the fans.
Yeah, we are so concerned about you guys that we're putting our life on the line right now.
Yes, I feel like if my parents cared about me half as much as I care about disappointing the fans, I would have a much better childhood.
Do you think if you paid your mom as a kid that she would have cared more?
It depends how much I paid her. Is it life-changing money, or is it just enough money where she can buy like a $20 shirt?
I guess that's exactly what this is.
Yeah, I guess exactly that's true. Does this guy have a person in the back of him? What is that?
Oh, I think...
Are they snowshoes?
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. There's
those?
A guy that has a backpack, and then it looks like
robot legs.
Yeah, it looks like fake legs.
I wish you could see it. Maybe... Oh my God, it does look like he has a kid behind him.
I thought he was carrying a child, but it's just these weird robot legs. It looks like something you'd wear when you go skiing.
Yeah, it's really weird. Or I'm like, is it because he has to do something where his shins get kicked out or something?
Like
is he playing soccer? But those don't.
They look like shoes attached to legs.
Yeah, they do look like robot legs.
Would you be upset if robots came to fruition and Joe wanted to fuck robots?
Honestly, I would like it because sometimes I'm just like, I just want to work on myself right now.
Yeah, and just kind of chill out.
Edit videos, meet with friends, and then I'm like, as long as he's good at cleaning it. That's the thing I've always talked about with like sex robots with guys, that I just don't picture them. I picture them fucking it a few times and then getting it so gross that it breaks, or like the wife is going to end up having to fix it the whole time.
I also think it's going to be kind of like, you know, when you throw a mattress out and you have to wrap it in plasticware, it's going to be robots in plastic all over the streets. Because eventually you're going to have to throw them out and people are going to be like, you have to wrap it in plastic. Otherwise you're getting charged $300.
Oh, yeah. I just picture like the jizz bin being full and they're never like emptying it. And there's like food crumbs all over them because they're probably like eating nearby.
Well, you
their
think
sex robot.
Do you think they're like getting in the mood? They're like, I know this girl that used to have sex with this guy who, she talked about him so much that I started dreaming about him. And I was like, she talked about him. If we talked 2 hours a day, she talked about him for an hour and 52 minutes.
That's actually pretty awful.
Yeah.
That sounds like someone with a mental illness. Like, you know, like.
For sure. It was not, they weren't even dating.
Oh
like, I think she was just kind of obsessed with him. And then at the point
where. Was this in high school?
No.
Oh my God.
I was like, we were probably in our 30s.
Because I know in high school didn't you obsess? Like, that's when you would stalk a crush or
Sure, but I guess because she was hooking up with him. I don't know.
Yes.
So he would be like, and he also did a lot of mind tricks where he'd be like, let's get married. Like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And you're like, you don't even call me back. How are we going to get married? Are you going to show up on the wedding day?
Those guys are so awful.
I know. And it was so awful that I don't know, she was just into this dude. And I could tell you off camera who it was.
Okay.
He's not a comic, but I think he kind of used to do comedy.
Okay.
Anyway, she was dreaming about him all the time, and I started dreaming about him, and I was like, hey, I'm dreaming about this guy. You have to stop talking about him, because now he's in my subconscious.
That's horrible.
It's horrible. And he's also, like, not attractive. I don't know. But she used to tell me, like, she would go to his house. First of all, he would watch the TV really loud. Then they'd have sex. And then he would right away eat a Burger King burger in bed.
Ugh.
So that just reminds me he would fuck this robot and then right away just eat a Big Mac in bed. Is that McDonald's and not Burger King? I don't know.
Yeah. No, yeah. Big Mac is McDonald's, but that totally makes sense because I know whenever I'm on the computer, I'm also eating a lot. And then my mouse would always get, like,
Crumbs
food residue on it. That's how I think. Or, like, if I'm doing this with a computer, like, then I picture people doing that with their sex robot, kind of.
For sure.
Yeah. Just not treating them well. Like, I'm sure some guys would be really great about...
Cleaning it?
Yeah.
I mean, what about the guy that's just coming all over it? Is he going to clean it?
No.
Probably not. Do you think, okay, will it be acceptable if you have somebody who cleans your house to ask them to clean your sex robot?
If I was the maid, I would be like, that's going to cost you extra. But
Okay.
I would do it if
Huh.
I was,
A maid.
yeah.
So say you're getting $200 to clean somebody's 2-bedroom apartment.
Mm-hmm.
How much are you tacking on for the cum robot?
I'm going to add it, since there's cum in there, I'm going to add another $100.
That seems fair.
Yeah? Yeah.
I think it's pretty fair.
Yeah. I think that you make sex robots that you can just take outside and then hose them off.
Oh, I thought you'd say that you fuck them outside.
Yeah. No.
You hose them off, but what about the electronics? I guess there are some vibrators that are waterproof.
Yeah. Like, I think some you can put in your dishwasher, which I think makes sense. I
So
always have
maybe-
to clean mine.
Okay, maybe what you do with the sex robot is you could take the jizz compartment out and put that in the dishwasher.
I think so.
But
And
like,
then,
what else are you washing with it?
well, I don't know. I'm sure they're going to have hair that needs a little cleaning. Like, even your Barbie doll's hair would get matted. Remember when they would get very knotted?
Oh, I always thought I was...
Like, they would almost be like dreads.
Yeah, I also always thought I was a hairdresser and cut all of my Barbie doll's hair.
Yeah.
I think everyone does that.
Oh, you think that you could just give her a bob and then you're like, I was so wrong on this. And then you never, or like, I think she would look great with bangs. And then you don't realize
That there's feathering involved in bangs. You just cut them straight across.
she's just spiked up. And then she just looks stupid.
I think as a kid, I tried proving to myself that if I cut her hair and it was short, she would look ugly.
yeah.
And then I was like, she still has a kick-ass body.
It's
Ken still would fuck her.
pretty tight.
Do you
Did you
think-
ever make your dolls have sex?
I think so. I remember I had that joke where I used to make my Jesus date my dolls.
Oh, yeah.
'Cause you didn't have enough guy options.
Yeah, and his arms are always in a...
Straight out, like
Like
a
a hug?
crucifix. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I just made him aggressive. not loving.
like,
Not loving Jesus, but he
Like,
would just
what up?
beating people.
yeah. Which he probably would. I just remember I'd always want my dolls to have sex, and I remember even as a kid being frustrated that it didn't feel real enough to me.
Oh, I don't even think first of all,
Why won't you guys fuck? It's just plastic on top of each other.
yeah. Well, what we should have done was carved out pussies on the dolls
Yes.
and then attach something to the guy and fuck them like that.
Yeah. But I feel
What do
like
you
your
even-
parents would... I remember my parents saw me doing it, and they were disturbed.
They saw you with the two dolls on top of each other.
Yeah, I think I was playing it in the apartment. The very first place that we lived at was an apartment, and I was doing it, and the guy that was washing the windows saw me do it, and then he told all my parents.
The guy that was washing your windows.
There was something weird. I got busted for doing it. I remember just being like, I don't know how you guys found out about this.
I remember. Yeah, that is weird to also tell. Maybe he thought you were getting molested by someone.
Yeah, but I only got molested like afterwards.
So maybe you were asking for it and you weren't really molested. That's now knowing more of the story. I would
Yeah.
have to say you were really asking for it.
Yeah, it was a little foreshadowing.
I remember in the back of my mother's bedroom door, there was like this paint that peeled off.
Oh, yeah.
But it wasn't like cracking. It peeled off like glue on your hand.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
Yes, and you would destroy the wall.
I destroyed the wall and I felt so guilty about it that I had to tell them. First of all, they must have seen it.
Yeah.
But I felt so guilty about it that I had to tell them, and my mother didn't even care.
Wow. Yeah. We had that by the phone. The one, because it's landline.
Mm-hmm.
So eventually all the kids, when we were on the phone or in that area, you would just, while you're on the phone, just like, because you're bored, you're just peeling shit off the wall. So we would just like, it would just be destroyed.
Did you have like a curfew for when you couldn't get called after?
I believe so. It was kind of understood, but I think around 8 o'clock at night. It was kind of early.
I think mine when I grew up was like 10. I couldn't get called after that.
Yeah.
But I could stay out till all hours of the night. Not during the school week, but on the weekends I could pretty much go home when my friends went home.
Yeah. I guess because your like parents would just go to sleep early and they're just like, you just don't call.
Yeah, it's so crazy that
I would get mad at front people.
if they called you late.
I'm like, what are you doing? You're going to get me fucking in trouble.
I mean, I could stay on the phone for hours.
Yeah.
I would stay on the phone all day. Like, as soon as I got home from school, I would be on the phone 4 hours.
That's so crazy because, like, I did have that, but not to the extent that I knew other girls or people had it that
I think most
didn't
people
hang
did.
out on the phone as much, but
Oh my
I-
God, you've never like watched a whole TV show with someone or a movie? Yeah, we did that all the
No.
time.
Yeah. Well, I think I had siblings and my parents, so it would, remember if you would do that and then they would pick up on the other line.
We only had one phone because we had a small apartment.
There you go.
But you
Then
had
you
a
could,
house.
you could hear somebody being like, and then hang up, and you're like, I gotta go. I think my mom wants to use the phone right now. Oh, and then one time I had my friends over, and I still think about this today, that it's so fucked up that this happened. It was kind of embarrassing. We called those sex lines
Ooh.
because you just see it on the TV, and we thought it would be funny. And
Sounds like it would be funny.
yeah, my friend Mary and I, and then I think one other girl, we were doing it and we were laughing hysterically. And I don't even know why we were laughing hysterically, because all you were getting was an automated telephone message most of the time.
Oh, wait, nobody called and like jerked you off?
No, we would just call, and then the next step would be like, okay, put in your credit card number. But we didn't have a credit card number, but we would just try to get to the operator. My mom found out. She barges in the room, no discussing it with me, rips the phone out, and then hits me in front of my friends.
That's the worst, to get hit in front of other people.
Mortified. My friend still talks about it to this day.
How do you know?
There was no discussion of what I was doing, like what was wrong, why she was upset about it. Like, this is shit that I talked to
Alan
with therapy.
about?
Yeah, where I'm like, where I was telling him, I'm like, sometimes I just think my mom hates me.
I'm sure she doesn't hate
She
you.
doesn't, but the way she responds to things is so fucking crazy.
Well, I think you're going to have to talk to her
True.
at some point about it.
Well, he said that, and I was like, Alan, I just got used to asking for $20 for a service that I rendered the other day. Like, I captioned somebody's video. It was Caitlin, and she forgot to pay me for one of them, and I was having this ethical dilemma of like, all right, I'll wait a few days, and I know it's a mistake, but like, I don't want to let it lie because I actually did work, but she's a friend of mine, so it feels awkward.
Oh, she didn't pay you enough.
Yeah, she just paid me for one of the videos and not the second one.
Oh, okay.
And so it was like one of those things where you're like, I have to ask because this is what I need to do, because I'm going to just have a resentment. And it's not like she's being malicious about it. It's
No,
just like she's forgetful. Like, shit happens.
It is easier to just be like, hey, you probably forgot. I just want to let you know.
Yeah.
But it does feel uncomfortable.
It's so, like, sometimes when somebody's like, we'll split the cab fare, and then they don't initiate Venmoing you. And you're like, that was actually like, I spent $60, so that $30 would actually help me.
Yeah.
And then it's so awkward to Venmo request them.
When somebody
day
like, I
later.
hate when people are like, I'll buy you this, or I'll give you money towards something, and then they don't, because it's like, I don't want to have to ask for that. But it is very uncomfortable though.
It is. And so I was like, Alan, I just felt good about that. Like, this is such a huge other step to talk to my mom
Of
about
course.
this.
Yeah, but like, you're not going to talk to your mom tomorrow.
No. All I said was like, all I can do is like the next time she responds in a manner that I feel unfair is mention
Or,
it.
I mean, there could be a time where you just talk to her about it. But like, doesn't it always feel like it's so uncomfortable where you, like, I would do this thing where if something was uncomfortable, instead of sticking up for myself, I would fight with that person.
Yeah.
And then we would just not be friends anymore.
Yeah.
Instead of just like sitting in an uncomfortable feeling and being like, hey, blah, 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 blah.
That hurt my feelings when you did that. And I didn't appreciate that.
Yeah.
And then they can be like, oh, I wasn't meaning it to be malicious, but I can totally see how you would see it that way, and I'm sorry.
Like, I remember
Why is it so hard? But it is.
Because it's like, I think we're taught to not have any feelings.
Yes.
And I remember Liz had gone through a breakup, and I was in my own funk where I was like binging and drinking, like just doing my own thing, and I'd make plans with her and cancel. And then one day she talked to me about it. And in a way where, look, I also was in a place where I could hear it and not be defensive.
Yeah, feeling like you're attacked or something.
Yeah, and she was like, well, it just hurt my feelings, and, you know, I wanted you to be there for me and support me. And I was like, oh, you know what? I didn't realize that had any consequences on you. Because I was so busy hating myself, just thinking this doesn't affect anyone else.
Yeah.
But that made our relationship so much better. Since that day, it's been so much better, and I do try to be more considerate. And I can be selfish too, but like, I just don't think people talk to each other. And like, if she wasn't in therapy and I wasn't in 12-step group and therapy, like, who knows what would have happened? I can't have a conversation like that with my sister ever.
Oh, yeah. Like, if I with my sister, she ends up calling me like I'm the crazy one, and then brings up all this stuff that has nothing to do with this, and then it's like, well, nothing that I said was accounted for. I don't know.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
it's like also being a victim all the time.
Yeah,
Where
it
you're like,
sucks.
it's hard to ever say how you feel about something when someone's like, well, blah, blah. Like, my sister's a victim because she doesn't have any insight to anything she does.
Yeah.
Like, she's gotten a little bit better, but she's just, if she asks you to do something and you can't, she's just mad at you. And you're like, well, that's really unfair.
Yeah, you didn't let me defend, or like I can tell you why I can't do it, or like
It
why
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
She's just mad.
Yeah.
But, like, I used to be like that, too, just mad at everyone, mad at the world. And then,
Oh yeah, when you could just voice it, and then most of the time when you do, most people are like, I'm so sorry, I didn't see it that way, and I can see that you would, and it was not intentional.
yes. But I also think we were not taught as kids to do that.
No.
I mean,
not at
I
all.
wasn't in my family. I don't even mean, I'm not saying for you, but I think most parents don't really talk to their kids like that. Like,
Oh.
yeah, we got hit all the time.
Yeah, I did too, with no, like, not that I would say we were in a violent household, but every now and then something would happen that it would evoke them to just plain up,
Yeah.
straight up hit you.
Yeah,
where you're
I mean,
like,
I was getting hit until I was like 16. And one day I had to say to my mother, I'm going to fight you and kick your ass. And then she stopped hitting me.
good for you.
But, like, I was getting hit till I was almost like 16 years old, which is insane.
I know. When I think about like now hitting kids, first of all, I've been really mad, but I've never been in a position that I want to hit somebody, or I know that the consequences are not right, so I know not to.
I don't know. There's times I'm on stage and I'm thinking like I've had an altercation with somebody in the audience and been like, I might get into a fight with this person off stage. Like there was
True.
this one girl that had that weird energy that had her feet on the stage, and I think she was a lesbian, but like her energy was not friendly. And the whole time she's looking at me, I go, "Hey, it looks like you want to fight me." Like I had to say that to on stage because it was so weird.
Which I think that's a really great way.
Yeah, and she kind of was like, "Oh no," I'm just like, she was wearing some doofy hat and stuff, but I was like, just very aware of my surroundings that this chick may hit me.
That is so funny when people, like, it's kind of like having, Joe sometimes is like, look at that lady. She's looking at us so weird or mean. I'm like, she's probably just like, that's her resting face and she's zoning out right now, or she's thinking about something. It's like, and then we think that they're like, fucking hate this person.
Yeah, I remember being in high school and doing that, like where you just look at something and you're zoning out. And I guess I must been looking at this girl's direction. She was like, "Are you a lesbian?" And I was like, "What?" I was like, I'm just zoned out. But like, I guess that's an appropriate question.
And then you're like,
Also, I want to
I
be
don't
like,
know,
hey,
am I?
if I'm going to be a lesbian, it's not going to be with you. You're not even attractive.
I know.
But if I said that, I'd be wrong.
Oh, yeah. It's so,
But you
yeah.
just zone out and you're in another world.
Had that so many times where people are like, are you okay? And you're like, yeah. Or I do sometimes when I'm doing a show and then I'm looking at somebody and it looks like they're not even having fun. I'm like, Sarah, sometimes that's your face when you're just listening and it doesn't mean that you're not having fun.
Well,
you're just like in a...
You ever somebody in the audience come up to you after and they're like, "Oh my God, I thought you were so funny." And you're like, "You didn't laugh once."
Yeah.
Like, how often do you go to a show and laugh at a comic?
Not often.
It's hard. I think we're just inundated with comedy. I've ruined comedy for people. They've come to too many shows and been like, I used to be able to laugh at hack shit, and now I can't.
I can't. And then now if I do find something funny, it's more like, oh, I wish that was mine. Oh, that's good. That's clever. I like that.
Yeah, but it's almost like you rarely laugh out loud.
No. I can't tell you. Oh, this is what... what was the last thing that you laughed really hard about?
I mean, this is, you mean a
I guess
joke?
talking about your friend and you trying on outfits for your high school boyfriend.
That made me laugh pretty hard. But then I also do this thing where I'll tickle Fred because he's so ticklish and he gets upset by it and it makes me so happy. Because then he's laughing so hard and then I also stick my finger in his mouth and it makes him get more mad.
Oh,
so
wait.
that makes me laugh really hard.
That is really funny.
That's really funny. Like, that made me gut laugh. So stupid stuff like that makes me laugh.
It is really funny to see somebody can't control themselves.
Yeah, and he'll be like, "I hate it." I'm like, "But you're having so much fun. You're laughing." I'm like, "I don't understand how I should stop. You're laughing right now." And then he gets more mad at that.
That is so funny. Joe won't let me tickle him. He gets mad.
Ooh.
I can't even go into his armpits, and I've told him when he dies, that's the first thing I'm going to do is go right into his armpit.
That's funny. Or you should be like, if you lose, like the ability to feel in your legs, and I have to lift you up like you have polio. You have to put your arms under his arms.
Yes. That is when I get to do it. But he made me laugh the other day. This is the hardest I laughed, to the point where like you're silently laughing. He, I don't know how we got into the conversation of it, but he started doing, you know, in movies when somebody's possessed by the devil and they start speaking Latin. Well, Joe has such a cute face to me, but he was doing this "come lolly lolly,"
That's
like,
funny.
and I couldn't.
Yes, stuff
stop.
like that is funny.
Yeah, where I'm like, this is so funny and goofy and off the wall and so random to me right now that I'm just like dying with hysterics.
Well, us doing also reading those reviews was making me laugh too, because like
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
so bad at it.
So, that was better than I thought it was gonna go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
That's
not
great.
great at doing accents or
was
whatever, but
But this was another incident recently. We did I talk about this? We did the 5K, like a turkey trot, and
no,
it was
you
like
didn't tell me this.
it was over Thanksgiving, and people were dressed in like pilgrim outfits and turkeys, but there was one older lady, just a white lady, wearing like a Pocahontas outfit. Which, like, she meant nothing by it. It was just like a sweet little, like, something that would be great. People would be like, that is so great, Karen, and like 10 or 15 years ago.
Oh, but now she's like taking it from their culture.
Yeah, where Joe thought it would be, he was making me laugh, where he was like, wouldn't it be crazy if I went up to her and be like, what you're doing right now is fucked up, and I want you to think long and hard about what you're doing. This is so fucked up. Just like being so like Antifa about it, because that's not something that she's expecting, and then she would probably feel really bad about it.
They'd probably get her to run quicker though.
Oh yeah, but
she'd be running away from him. She'd be like, I gotta get away from this guy. This is a perfect way to get me.
You fucked up. You fucked up so hard. But it's just like she would have no idea what she did. You're like, you're responsible for desecration of a whole tribe of people. Did you know that you did that?
And you're like, no. What did I do?
You're wearing a Pocahontas dress.
You're like, this.
You
is
know what
news
you
to
did.
me.
Yeah, she has no idea.
Now, I honestly have no idea who Pocahontas is. I know she's in that cartoon, but was she someone that was killed during Thanksgiving?
No, but I love that. That is so funny that like I like that you think that's Pocahontas' story.
I don't know what her story is. I'm sure we killed her, and that's
Well,
why
apparently, more likely she was of child rape to an English settler. Apparently, these two guys that were like, I think John Smith, I think is his name, was going to discover land, and one of the Indian chiefs gave her to them to like help navigate. But that's the Disney story.
Oh.
But like, really, what happened? Probably she was just like trade happened, and she was forced into like basically like sex slave kind of situation, but she's just like a child bride.
Okay. I thought she was somebody that the Pilgrims murdered
No.
during Thanksgiving.
Their sacrifice.
That's exactly who I thought she was.
Remember that and tweet that out being like, I love Thanksgiving is the day when we remember Pocahontas' life when she was murdered by the Pilgrims.
Was she not murdered by anyone eventually?
I don't know what happened to her, but I love that's why we celebrate Thanksgiving is that.
Oh, no. I didn't think she's the only one we murdered. I think it was her and like a bunch of other people. Not just her. But I thought she's one of the people we murdered.
But it does make me laugh for you if that's what you thought Thanksgiving was. And then Thanksgiving is like, you know that the Pilgrims and the Indians didn't really just like sit down and eat at a table.
No. I mean, I don't understand. I guess I just feel like the Indians should have been able to beat the Pilgrims.
Yeah.
But I think they were outnumbered. This is when I'm making everything up.
I think they also, the Pilgrims or English settlers brought in like smallpox and just desecrated them with disease.
That's a very white way of doing things.
Yeah.
This is what comes up. This is Pocahontas?
Yeah, I guess so. She looks great.
She looks like a queen.
Well, I guess that's her after marriage. That's her in cartoon.
I mean, she's hot in cartoon.
Super.
Oh,
what does the Wikipedia say about her?
Let's see, Sarah. I don't know.
Let's get down to it.
Pocahontas was a Native American woman notable for her association with the colonial settlement at Jamestown. Wasn't Jamestown a town that everyone died from a flood?
I have no idea.
Hmm.
Our knowledge is so lots of holes
A
in
lot
it.
of spottiness. If somebody said to you, explain American history, what would you start with?
Well, there were Native Americans for the longest time, and then I would say, well, also start off with,
Columbus.
well, that strait where it's actually like
The
people
Bering
from
Strait?
that walked over that ice bridge, and then that's how we got people here. And then Columbus came, and then there was more settlers, Spanish, and they were just basically like raping and giving disease.
Okay, so the
And
white people
then-
brought the raping and the disease.
Yeah, and
Okay.
then eventually we're here long enough that we're like, hey, I don't like to live under English rules anymore.
Okay.
So then we had our own revolution, and then we started buying slaves to get our product up, tobacco,
Right.
and then or cotton,
Mm-hmm.
and then the North and the South split on that, and then we had a civil war, and then here we are today.
I mean, somewhere in between there is the Louisiana Purchase.
There
I
is a
don't know what that is.
Like, most of the West has nothing to do with most of American history.
Or what about the gold rush?
There was a gold rush, but that was 1849, so that's still
If you said when was the gold rush and you told me it was 1942, I would have been like, oh, okay.
cool.
Right around this World War One.
Yeah, it was happening around the same time we were finding a lot of gold.
If you said to me that was one of the main reasons why we were having World War One, I would believe it.
Yeah.
I know very little about history. And I know,
it's fun.
I remember not knowing anything about like American history, and this priest that used to let Marley run around in the schoolyard by my house, which I later found out he was like moved around because I think he was touching kids.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I was like, well, he lets my dog run around. I don't have a backyard.
Yeah,
so
so
like,
he's-
what am I
he's
going to
good in
do?
my
What am I going to do? I'm not going to leave kids by him, but I'm sure going to let my dog run around this parking lot.
Yeah.
I asked him if he would give me a bunch of like social studies books because I planned on reading them, and then I never read them. They just went from one card to the next, and then I threw them all out.
I've been in that where you carry a lot of the stuff that you keep on meaning to get to in your car.
Yeah.
I had a printer in my trunk for about a year.
Oh, that makes sense. I just was transferring books from one place to another car to another car.
Well, right now in my backpack, I've been carrying the second part of Harry Potter in my backpack, and I've read the first chapter maybe 10 times because I keep
You keep
starting
forgetting.
over, and I'm like, oh, I gotta start over again.
Okay, when do you think Pocahontas died? What
let's-
year? What year?
I'm gonna say 1650.
Wow, pretty close, 1617. But if
Oh
you
my
asked me
God.
when she died, I don't even know. I would be like, maybe before Christ, BC.
Yeah.
I would have no idea what's happened.
You're like 20 years ago.
I would know it was a little bit before that, but I
Yeah.
would never know it was even the 1600s.
Yeah.
I was not good at history.
I kind of just deduced. I was like, well, it's kind of started in 1492. So
With Columbus sailing the ocean blue?
yeah.
I know very little.
And then, so time must have passed before that happened. So then I was like, maybe around the 1600s. Like, when was the Salem witch trials?
1992?
Yeah.
No, I think the 1800s.
I actually think they might be in the 1700s, like near the Declaration of Independence.
Okay, I'll look it up. Hold on, I was just texting
Yeah, sure.
Noia about the thing. Okay, let's see. What did I say? 1800s? I still think that's right.
Yeah.
Salem witch trial. I think we're going to lose a lot of people who were like, these girls are dumb. Well, especially me.
You know what? We can just tie this over to the history hyenas and get their listeners.
Oh, why? Do they go through history stuff?
Yeah, they like talking about history,
But
but
do
they
they kno-
always get sidetracked on stuff.
But do they know it's right?
Yeah, I think Chris and Giannis are pretty
Oh, I'm not.
avid history followers.
When did you say?
I was gonna say sometime in the. I was gonna say maybe 1700s.
Okay, so it was May 1693.
Okay.
I was only off by like 100 years.
Yeah, that's not so bad. That's like one living person,
Yeah.
almost.
I mean,
One of the oldest. That's why when you think about, like, I don't know, you're like, God, now to think that I'm 40, 41, being like, I remember when my dad was that age in the 80s thinking that 1940 was so far and like a concept I couldn't even think of. So now when I think of like slavery, you're like, it really wasn't that long ago.
No. My dad died at 50. So
Yeah.
that means I'm only 9 years younger than my dad was when he died.
Yeah.
Which is nice in a way to be like, it's almost over. I'm
there.
on third base right now.
We're just cramming in everything last minute.
That's so crazy.
We were talking about this today. There was part of me that said that I would feel like if you had a terminal illness and they were like, you actually have 6 months to live and they're right about it, there's part of me that feels like
relieved.
I would be relieved because now I know I can just quit everything that I don't want to do.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird? But then I should just do that now.
No, because you'd probably live a little recklessly.
Yeah.
Like if I had 6 months to live and I saw somebody just giving me a dirty look, I would take my shovel out and punch him and like beat him with it. Like that's not something I should be doing right now. And I know that.
That is an excellent point.
But if you're like, hey, I should go, on this vacation. Yeah, it's definitely stuff like that.
Or quit your shitty day job or
Quit your shitty day job.
The other thing is, I thought about this too. Sometimes I was like, I wish I could clone myself and I would make that person party hard and work hard. And then I was like, I can see my clone being more successful than I am.
Well, especially if they were partying in comedy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If you're going to use your clone.
So I can stay home and watch TV and chill.
Now, are you also, where's your clone living? Are you paying for your clone?
I guess she's staying with me.
Do you think at some point, though, she would be like, I don't need you?
That's what I think.
Would you get scared?
I feel like if I made my clone do all the stuff I didn't want to do, she would have like this amazing life.
And then at some point, she would just leave you.
Yeah, this should be a short story or a short film.
About a clone that outgrows you?
Yeah, and they're like, I can't be here anymore. Like, you bum
You're
me out.
holding me back. And you're like, but I made you. You're from me. And it's like, but I'm actually a better version of you.
Yeah, and then she just kills me, and I'm like, I'm fine with that. If this is the life that you want?
It's not a bad idea.
She just takes over. Like, she's better in bed than I am. She's doing she's basically what she's doing. She's just me, but giving 100%.
How much do you think you give on a daily basis?
I think I'm at a 60%.
I was going to say I'm at 40.
This is what I do. And I'm like this at the gym. I say I'm like, if you want to get my results at the gym, go for it and then pull back about 50%. And that's really what I'm doing.
How often do you go to the gym?
I go every day, but I'm going,
What?
I'm going 30 minutes.
That's great.
When I can. And then probably about 15 to 20% of it is on the phone.
Okay. So you're doing about 15 minutes of exercise. That's actually, if you're doing that consistently, though, that's pretty good. Are you still doing paleo?
I broke with this holiday.
I feel like it's very hard to stick to paleo.
I'm
not doing that,
and
but
it's also expensive. But just like we, with all the people that brought food over, like I have a ton of food, and the idea of just like throwing out chips and dip because I'm on paleo just seems wasteful. So
what
I'm
if
just
you
like,
just
fuck it, I'll go back to the new
just
year.
suck off the salt on them and then eat the salsa? I feel like you could do that.
I could do that, and then I'll have my clone
Eat the chips.
So
they're fatter than you.
That's the one thing about my clone is she would probably gain more weight.
If you get your clone to be fat, she will always need you.
That's true.
I know that's a sad
To keep
message
your
to
clone
send out to the world. But keep your clone always needing you by being thinner. And you telling her she can't do better. Now, what would you do?
Yeah.
What?
No, I'm like, I really would like to film this as a short film. Like, I make my clone in my apartment. I don't know how to do it. I just have a 3D printer.
Well, maybe
it's like weird science.
Well, yeah, maybe you take one of Joe's robots and you just turn her into you slowly.
Yeah. And then I'm like, I need you to go and do all my spots tonight.
Now, would she have like your jokes in her head?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would clone her from where I am now.
Okay.
But maybe fix her up in a few areas.
Would you be okay with her fucking Joe?
Yeah, I think so.
Now, if she's fatter, I don't know that Joe's going to be into fucking her.
I think Joe would be into fucking her.
Just because it's a different Sarah. I used to ask guys that I date, I'm like, when you jerk off and think about me, do you think about me being thin or fat? And they're like, Adrian. I'm like, that's not answering the question, but I'm going to assume thin.
You're like, I know my answer. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. As soon as you refuse to answer, I know. Unless they're like, well, I think of her fat because she has lower self-esteem. And I find that sexy.
I just like picturing what it's like to date with you.
Oh, it's a nightmare. Ask Fred. Fred thinks it's a nightmare to date me.
I'm just like you're really good about finding ex-girlfriends, then you find new things to talk about.
To bring up.
Like, to fight about where I'm like this. Oh my God, what are we doing?
Yeah, he's also crazy though.
I know, but I know that you do it because it's like also comical.
Some of it.
Yeah.
What do you think it would be like if you found one of Joe's ex-girlfriends you did not know
Okay.
and then became friends with her?
Without him knowing?
Yeah.
Like if I became friends with his ex-girlfriend, Becca.
Yeah, and he didn't know it.
What?
What do you think would he be upset?
Yeah, I think a lot of guys don't want you to be friends with their ex-girlfriends. In fact, I think it might be a nightmare behind you doing stand-up comedy.
Oh, okay.
I think, or these are the top 3 things that you cannot do when you break up. This is what will piss guys off when you break up with them. Fuck their friends.
Ooh.
Best friends with their ex-girlfriends.
Yes.
Or then start stand up and dedicate your act to what they're like.
Right. I always will tell people, and I've said that I shine in a breakup, and if I have to fuck your dad, I will. I will wait till you come home and just start blowing him in the doorway. I'm like, oh, I didn't know you still lived here.
Yeah. That goes to number 1.
Number 1 is I will fuck anyone. I'll like get people in your family divorced.
Yeah.
I'm okay with wreaking havoc wherever I go.
You're like, I have the time.
And I know I only have 9 years left, so I'm gonna live like I only have 6 months.
I'm all for this.
I also think the best thing you can do, like I have other friends that are comics, and I always say to them, like when they break up with somebody, I'm like, nobody cares if you lose weight. I'm like, be more successful.
Yes.
Because that success really pisses people off.
Oh, that's like my big motivator.
To be more successful than Joe.
Yeah. Or no.
More successful than everyone you've dated.
The guy previous. Yeah.
I'm sure you're
I
right.
think
the
I've
guy
done
was
it.
that the TP guy?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
As soon as
that's why I dated him.
Yeah. You're like, this is going to be easy to top.
Joe's like actually pretty hard for me to beat his success. Like he still has, let's just do it on social media. His numbers on social media are way more than mine.
But your numbers are way more than mine. So that has to make you feel a little bit better.
Not really.
Do you feel like our worth is based on how many followers we have?
No, but I do have to say sometimes I have girls that I get jealous of. Every now and then I'll look at their Twitter followers, and if I'm more than them, I do say this to myself, I'm still beating you. Is that sad? That's
no,
sad.
I think it's good. I think if anything, that should make you,
you.
work harder.
That's why I like you.
Yeah, I think that should make
you
you
support
work.
me for that.
I will support any crazy thing you want to do. But I think that is very reaffirming how many followers you have.
Yeah.
And I think you should work to get more. See, going to the
trying.
gym, I don't even think helps.
No.
You had that one tweet that got you like 8,000 followers.
Oh, yeah. It was about my dad measuring my asshole to make sure I'm not having anal in high school.
It's such a funny joke.
It was about, based on that T.I. quote.
Oh, yeah, when he said he was measuring. No, he was. I was like, is he measuring her vagina?
We were like, those kind of bounce back and go all over the place.
This is how much my dad was not a child molester.
Yeah.
I was like probably 15 or 16. I'd say the height of my hotness.
Yeah.
And I would walk around with like a t-shirt and like underwear, and he'd be like, go put more clothes on. It's like, Dad, don't you want to check me out at least a little bit?
Why am I making you uncomfortable?
He's like, go put on more clothes. I'm like, okay. And my mom also would never let me lay in bed with him. I'm like, do you think he's going to fuck me? Am I a threat to you?
That's really weird.
Mm-hmm. I think because I was adopted by him, and she thinks in his head it's not really like incest.
Oh, kind of like a Woody Allen situation.
Right.
Sometimes I think that Woody Allen and his wife are staying together out of spite.
Just
Despite
because
all of America.
Because everyone else would be like, we knew it. We knew it
was going to last.
We knew 40. Yeah, you're married 40 years. Who cares?
But now they have to prove that it's love.
How long have they been married?
Wouldn't it be weird
years?
if she started adopting kids and then he married that kid?
I think it'd be great if she adopted a kid and then married that kid herself. And was like, this is what it feels like. How do you like this? And then her and her mom,
That's what
and then
you would
her,
do.
and then that's what I would do. And then her and her mom start being friends again. She's like, "Thank you for getting him back." What is their relationship like? They probably have a better relationship than me and my mother.
Mia and Sonyi.
For some reason in my head, I know it's not true, but I think Yoko Ono is the wife, is the mother of Soon Lee, whatever her name is.
Of course.
That's what I think
She's
in my
the
head.
only other well-known Asian woman that you know that
Yes.
you're like, she must be Sonyi's mother.
What is what is that lady's name?
Which lady?
Okay. Woody Allen's first wife?
Mia Farrow.
Okay, and then Soon Lee is Mia Farrow's adopted daughter.
Yeah, and now his wife.
That's why when you
And
adopt
Yoko Ono is
adopt
not his
kids,
mom.
you gotta adopt ugly kids because you're like, I don't want you fucking these kids.
Oh yeah. Well, I bet you at an adoption agency when they're like, we have a policy that you cannot marry your kids that you have adopted.
You're like, okay, well, you're gonna need to give me some that are disformed. Yeah, I'm gonna want one that's missing some stuff. So I'm not.
Preferably
I
one
never-
with no mouth and a butthole or any holes in their body that my husband can fuck it.
What if, if they're like, hey, and the husband's like, hey, I don't care about any holes. I just need the butthole. He's like, we're not gonna be able to lease you this kid. You should be able to lease kids and then give them back
Yeah.
every 3
Oh,
years.
but that's foster parents. That's kind of
Oh my-
leasing parents.
Oh, I guess that's
leasing
true. And then
kids.
you give them back.
Well, then you're just like, what else do you have? Can I trade this one in? But you get money from the government.
I know
for-
my friends when I was growing up. One of my best friends, she had a pool, and they also had a foster kid, and that's probably what was paying for the pool.
Yeah,
Was
that
that
makes
foster
sense.
kid? But they were so mean to her. Her name was Bernadette.
Uh-huh.
They did not treat her nice at all. I was nice to her, but I felt bad. She got her period at like 9 years old.
Oh, yeah, there's a few of those girls. I remember those girls, and you're like, even at that age, you're like, that's fucked up.
I know. At one point, I mean, I was too young to be able to vocalize for Bernadette.
Yeah.
But I think at 9 years old, I was probably like 13. I could have probably advocated and been her mom.
Yeah.
I should have been like, hey, Mom, I'm bringing home this kid, and now we're fostering her.
I think I could do a better. Well, obviously, if they weren't treating her right, if you realize that they had her so they could pay for their pool.
I don't know if she was paying for the pool. She might have also paid for like the kitchen being redone. I don't know. They got a lot of stuff in the house fixed up. That's a good way. Instead of getting an extra job for money, get a foster kid, fix up your house, and then kick them out.
Yeah. Be like, we're done.
I mean, like, they're already going to be fucked up.
You're like, as soon as your kitchen is done, you're like, I can't handle her anymore. She's just unruly and she's being
And they were
weird
like, well,
to the
this
other
this
kids.
really, the linoleum has not even dried, and now you're kicking this child out. This seems a little suspect.
What?
You're like, it lined up. I don't
Well,
know.
She's being rude to the other kids, and I didn't have
It'd be
her.
funny if, like, when they bring this kid to, like, another family, they're like, hey, after everyone demos their kitchen, she's getting kicked out. And they're like, well, we're not going to be, the kitchen's going to take at least a year.
Yeah, so bear with us, but it'll be so worth it. I love just sitting down all the kids were adopting someone. We just need the kitchen done, and then she's gone.
Also, the fact that, like, this girl was probably excited for this new kitchen, and then she was out. She was like, now I'm back to shitty microwaves that don't work in these other foster homes.
Yeah, like now when she's like, when I get adopted out, can we make sure that the house is brand new?
Yes, I want to make sure they're going to keep me for a while.
I don't need no fixer-uppers for me, please.
This is
time?
I think so.
Yeah, it's
44
time.
minutes. That seems like a good amount.
Oh, it's great. I think I'm all for, I think 45 minutes is a great amount of time. Sometimes we go over,
Sometimes we go under.
That's fine. Guys, you know where to find us. Also, thank you for whoever left the most recent Vadgie podcast review on iTunes. It was really sweet.
What did it say?
If you love podcasts, this is the best conversational podcast out there. It beats all the other ones. I think
Nice.
they listed a few of them. And then
Well, who
They
are
were like-
our competitors?
I think Tuesdays was stories.
Ooh, Joe's going to be very upset.
So mad.
He's going to fuck your clone so hard and take his aggression out on you.
I hope he does it for a long period of time because I've got some videos to edit and I would like to hang out with friends and then it'll give me some time.
Ooh, you're like, go fuck my fat clone.
Yeah.
All right, guys, thanks for listening. We value your support.
Thank you so much.